Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Below the Line. In this Saturday morning, I'm Andres Ramirez with my good friend, Mr. Zach Houston Scott. Opening weekend in baseball, but most importantly, the biggest trailer of this year, perhaps, just dropped. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, depending which book cover was yours. We're here to talk about it and discuss. Do we like it? Do we don't like it? Let's talk about it, Zach. How are you, man?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. We're also retrospecting today about Harry Potter, about the books, about the movies, about the games, everything that is Potter related, we're going to be talking about today.
The theme
So,
parks, don't forget about that.
yeah. Well, speaking of theme parks, the biggest theme park movie of the year is coming out next week on
Mario.
Wednesday. Mario, yes. And there was a big news drop that came out before the
Oh,
movie got released. How do you feel about that reveal? Like before
that
the
Fox is going to be in the film,
Yeah,
played by Glenn Powell.
yeah.
I mean, makes sense. It's a Mario cinematic universe. I just hope they pay it off with a game. It's been
Uh,
like decades without a game. Um,
a decade. The last one we had that came out was Zero for the Wii U, and that was
no,
not a very good game,
nobody
unfortunately.
played the Wii U. It's like 2 decades since the GameCube one, probably.
Yeah, since Assault, yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
I
a
mean, I think there was one for the Switch one, but it was not. It was more like a Star Wars ship battle thing.
Oh, Starlink, that was for Ubisoft, and the characters were used for that just kind of as a cameo since their deal
Mm.
with Nintendo had like those Mario Rabbids games. But yeah, the last Star Trek, not Star Trek, sorry, Star Fox game that came out was Star Fox 2 for the Nintendo Classic or
Holy
the
moly!
online service. But that was a cancel game they put on the market just because they thought, well, we could give players some incentive to buy it and use it as a selling point. So honestly though, I think it's pitch perfect casting. Like, you know, Powell is played a pilot before. He's got that southern western accent that Fox probably has in the game. I mean, I shouldn't say probably. I mean, that's how I kind of always heard the voice in my head. And hey, you know what? It may not just lead to Mario universe. It might lead to something more, especially with that Zelda movie coming out next year. And since we have Sonic and Pikachu up on the big screen, maybe we're getting something a little more of the brothers
Like
thing,
a gaming cinematic universe, you mean?
or a Super Smash Brothers cinematic universe.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a couple of movies away, but I mean, regarding Glenn Powell, I think he's an interesting casting choice. I think this will help that we don't see his face because he's often a box office poison, if you know what I mean. Like his solo movies have been not as successful with the box office, but I think if you don't see his face, he might be successful.
Yep,
And I mean, he has his big brother, Chris Pratt, that will help him.
Big Brother Chris Pratt.
I mean,
Other
in the sense that I sort of feel their careers are kind of similar in a way. Like, I
Yeah,
think Glenn Powell is missing like a Jurassic World franchise type of franchise to elevate his game or be part of the Avengers. I don't know.
well maybe this one will be it.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a good casting. I mean, the movie seems like it's going to tackle a lot of stuff. I'm not really sure if they're adapting parts of Galaxy, parts of Odyssey, but it's going to be fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun movie.
Have you seen anything else this week as well coming
I
out, or
saw Ready or Not too. I mean, my review of that movie is that it is what you would expect. It's more of the same. The film starts right after the last movie, and it goes more into the lore of the deal with the devil. It's violent, it's glory. You see more blood spilling. You know, it's a fun movie, but it's what you would expect from a sequel to a very low budget, successful horror movie.
yeah. No, it's fitting too because I mean this was the team that did the previous two Scream movies, and Yeah,
They
they
also did Abigail.
and Abigail, yes. They missed out on directing the seventh screen to work on Abigail, and they turned out another one of these movies. So they're a good directing duo. I'm excited to see more of them down the line.
Yeah, I think here it goes a little bit crazy. And I like that now she has a sister because it's two against a lot of people. The guy from the pit, I'm not sure what's his name because it's Sarah Michelle Gellar is in the film, but the guy from the pit, Dr. Abbott, is
Oh,
in the film. And he's just having too much fun playing the bad guy of the film.
Sean
And
Hasty or Hatsy?
I don't know. I don't know what's
Hattasy?
his name.
I
He
think
plays
that's
Dr. Abbott on the pit,
mm,
but he won an Emmy for that role, and he's directed a couple of episodes for the pit. But he's just having fun. Samara Weaving knows how to scream and sells it pretty well. And it's a popcorn film. You know what you're going to get. I wish they released it like either 2 weeks before or a week after, like they did here in Mexico, because I think it got lost with Project Hail Mary.
mm,
But I think it's going to be a huge success once it hits Hulu. I think because this is a Searchlight Pictures film, so I think it's going to be successful down the streaming line for sure.
yeah. Nice. Well, that's really good. But
How about you? What have you been seeing?
I rewatched the first Mario movie to get ready
Oh,
for the
I have to do that tonight.
yeah, next week. I been playing a lot of Star Fox just because that excitement got me excited. And
Oh,
I also watched this movie. It's called The Sweetest Thing from 2002. It's a Cameron Diaz comedy. Definitely feels of the time, but in kind of like those weird Adam Sandler style comedies that were popular back around that time. But for women, it was pretty interesting to say the least.
huh. Yeah, I also talking about gaming. I started playing Resident Evil Requiem
Nice.
on the Switch too, of all places. It runs quite well, actually. I'm very thrilled to see that running on the Switch. That being said, it gets a little bit steamy handheld mode,
Yeah.
but I mean, I cannot compare it to the PS5, but it looks pretty solid, spot on.
Hmm. I mean, it is going to be less than the PS5, but I mean, that's not a diss on the Switch too. That's just the way it was built.
But it is terrifying. I mean, the gray sections are terrifying. It's like playing Biohazard all over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like Grace is first person, Leon is third person. Leon is like playing Resident Evil 4, which ironically I never played flat. I played that in VR, so I was Leon, if you know what I mean. So Leon is action heavy, like you should. With Grace, you're in first person with a lighter trying to survive, so it's quite terrifying. And like you don't have guns, so it's more like Outlast type of gaming experience. If you remember Outlast, that's like a dated reference from the PS3 era, but that game was terrifying.
Yeah.
But it was a good game nonetheless.
That's good. No, it was. So I think we've put this off long enough.
Anyway, here
Let's
we
talk
go.
about the biggest trailer of
Trailer.
the year so far. A bit of a shock, not gonna lie, that they released the first image of the new Harry Potter TV show, and a trailer came out not for a 2027 release, but for this Christmas 2026. So it's coming this year. I don't know if it's an episodic release, like weekly. I don't know if it's going to be all batched at once, but definitely the December season got more crowded with this dropping. So
Who do you think it's going to affect more, Dune or Doomsday?
probably I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring, Jumanji, because it got pushed to Christmas, and now they have to kind of scramble because they have this Harry Potter show now that's released the same day. So
Mm.
spoiler alert, I might go watch Jumanji more because I guess before we dive into the trailer itself, we're both big Harry Potter fans, right?
Well, I would argue it is my favorite franchise. And just to add context, this trailer has become the most watched trailer in HBO and HBO Max's history, with 200, 277 million views in the first 48 hours without being paid. So this is without ads, without being an ad. So 277 million people watch this on their own.
Not as much as Spider-Man in its first 24 hours, but I mean, hey, that's I guess something to brag about.
Yeah, but going back to your question, yes, I am a huge Potter fan. I mean, I think I kind of grew out of it. Like, I'm still a very avid fan, but without the lack of new movies, new books, you kind of put it as part of your childhood because I think we both grew up with the film franchises and with the book releases as well. I've seen the plays, I've seen both versions of the Broadway play with the intermission, without the intermission. I have my particular problems with the play, and I think some of those problems are going to carry over to the show. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the movies. I think when it comes to filmmaking education, they were a perfect way to be educated without knowing that in terms of tone, how to manage kids, directing kids, tone, shifting the perspective of the characters and a point of view. They were great as filmmaking education in my childhood. So yeah, I'm a huge fan. How about
Yeah.
you?
I was definitely the perfect age for when this series started. The books, I think the fourth one was just about to come out when the first movie dropped in 2001. I watched that one on video when it came out, but it was just so cool, like going into this fantasy world. And it got me reading the books. That's one thing, like, say what you will about the author, like
I
J.K.
mean,
Rowling now, at the very least respect that it did get people reading again for like the dawn of the 20th century when it was or 21st century when it was already starting to kind of go on its way out and encourage kids to pick up a book and read these stories again. The fact that they were able to make a movie a year, like that should be applauded. That is just something that you
and
probably wouldn't be able to see again.
well,
That's
they already
really
stated that it's
something.
not going to be possible with the
I
show.
was alluding to that. I was going to bring it up when I started talking about it. But the fact that it was almost like they kept most of the same cast throughout its entire run. I think the only one they changed was Richard Harris's Dumbledore because he
Because he
passed
passed away.
away. But the fact they were able to keep everyone for these 8 movies, the fact they were able to adapt all of them in the span of a decade, the fact that they became such a pop culture phenomenon, like it helped Warner Brothers for that decade, I believe. Like if they didn't have a good
Hmm.
fiscal year, at least they could always count on Harry Potter to pull them out. So nope, I think the books were very good. I still like to reread them from time to time. But in these movies from time to time, I like the fact they got darker, like the reality of the world started to change and shift
Oh
as
boy.
these grew up. I thought that was a brilliant creative decision. I like that.
And and not to interrupt you, but I think also the filmmaking got more elevated.
Yes,
So of how the craftsmanship of filmmaking, that's what I'm saying. I think they were perfect education because from the first and second, the filmmaking is, I don't want to say basic, but it's pretty normal.
it's
But
Christopher Columbus doing a Christopher Columbus blockbuster, what he's best known for. Like you watch Bicentennial Man, you watch Mrs. Doubtfire, Home Alone. You know what you're going to get with those
yeah,
films.
yeah, yeah. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is when you bring Quaron, the filmmaking changes. And then
Oh
with
yeah.
David Yates, the filmmaking continues to change and it becomes more uh, elevated. So I think,
I wouldn't diss Mike Newell either for Goblet of Fire because he did a really good job. That's actually my favorite, my personal one of all those
well,
movies.
yeah, he also casted Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, like that
So,
to me is applauded. Like great work, man.
yeah.
Just took that terrible like Goblet of Fire is my least favorite book, but it's my favorite movie because it cut all the fat out and just made something that was more streamlined and ready to go. Controversial as that is, because I know there are fans of the book who like a lot of its subtext. I don't. I think it's just a waste of time because it doesn't go anywhere.
Well, yeah, I think the mystery of who put Harry's name is interesting in the book because they're trying to solve it and they have that flashback with going back to what's his name, Barty Crouch Jr. and all of that. I think that's interesting. So I appreciate what they did in the book, but the
I,
movie. still captures that essence.
Yeah, the movie reveals it very well. Like it's a decent twist. I didn't even see it coming when I was younger, so that's, to say something. I
Yeah,
just think the stuff with the house elves and Hermione trying to fight for them, that stuff is pointless. I'm glad they cut down Rita Skeeter a lot just because it was so annoying. She's not
the
very,
Rita Skeeter thing only makes sense if they paid off in the next books.
which they didn't, and they just kind of ignored it. So
At least in the film, because I think if you add that in the first, in the fourth one, you have to pay it up in the sixth and seventh book installment, and I don't think they had the time. Like it was a meaningless plot. The fact
yeah,
that she was able to sneak in because she's what's the name of the term? But she's like Sirius Black. She can make herself into an animal, but she's like a
yeah,
insect. I think.
Animagus, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Animagus. Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
I mean, it was just cool. And yeah, Curon, he elevated the series. Honestly, I kind of wish he stuck around because he made like serious art house sci-fi. And that's another thing too. Like all these movies or the books were kind of like different genres in fantasy. The first one was straight fantasy, the second one a mystery, the third one was a science fiction film with the time travel elements, the fourth a sports movie, the fifth one was an action movie. The sixth one was
Mystery again.
comedy. Pardon?
It was a mystery again because you're trying to figure out who is the Havelo Prince.
A bit. But there was a lot of teen comedic elements in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
film adaptation. Like it is actually a pretty funny movie in kind of a sick and twisted way.
But they took a lot of the things that would have made that film very successful, like the whole thing that everybody drinks that is liquid juice at the end and no dead eater can hit them. I think that's fantastic in the book, but they skipped it in the movie.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
streamlined that fight a lot
They did,
with the
but
dead
I didn't
eaters.
mind it honestly. And then the seventh one, I mean, it was split between a war movie and independent drama. So, no,
Well, it was like a
very
road movie, yeah, the
a
first
road
part,
movie. Yeah. And then
which
the
I
second
like.
one,
I like part one better than part two.
which a lot of people hate part one for that reason, but I like it. I think it gives these guys some time to, work
Be their
together.
own, yeah,
But
yeah.
with that being said, we've talked about our love of Harry Potter. I
Oh.
guess the cracks started to form after the last movie came out. Then they announced they were doing the spin-offs, Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those movies. I think it was based not even a book, it was just a collection of different creatures in the wizarding world.
Well, it was
And
a screenplay by J.K. Rowling
well, it wasn't necessarily a screenplay, it was based on like that book of
on the
creatures that
textbook
she
that they
turned into a
use.
screenplay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my issue with that actually was the opposite problem I had of Harry Potter, where it didn't really define a main character right away. Like Eddie Redmayne, I thought was going to be the main character, but it seemed to focus on those other two characters, Dan Fogel and I can't remember her name. Frig.
Oh, the Ministry of Magic version of New York lady.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
like the idea that it was set in America, but it just didn't feel defined. And I mean, the twist at the end with Colin Farrell actually being like this dark wizard played by Johnny Depp, I
Grindelwald.
thought was going to go somewhere, but it didn't. It actually made things worse in the next film because she added more characters. She added like this whole overarching plot that we were expected to follow. They were teasing Dumbledore with Jude Law being cast as a younger version, and I didn't think he was really well cast in that performance. And there's just so much going on I didn't understand. And then the third one came out to try to rectify it and keep things simple. And I don't know, maybe make Eddie Redmayne the main character again. It felt like Dumbledore was at that point. It just fell apart, and they recasted Grindelwald again because
And
Johnny
that
Depp.
pissed off fans
It did. I was mad. I was like, "What the heck, guys?"
because of
Like,
Amber Heard.
yeah, Mads Mikkelsen is a fine choice, but he just plays his villain role again. It's
He
no
just plays
different
a
than when,
Nazi. He
yeah,
just plays a Nazi.
he did what he did with Mufasa. He did what he did with Casino Royale. He did what he did with oh, what's the best one? Doctor Strange when he played that one bad guy. I don't even remember his name because he's so forgettable.
Well, I think the issue with the Fantastic Beast is I think David Yates should have been a producer, not the director. I think
Yeah,
David Yates gave the franchise enough with finishing the Potter series. and that should have been what he should have, where he should have stopped. But I think the issue is it's not the lack of character, is the lack of magic when it comes to how they framed it, in terms of the visuals, right? Like the first film feels very derived of magic, and I think that's a very um, bad thing, and I don't know if they should have done that. And then the plot got more confusing as they kept going, right?
Yeah.
Because they were setting up the wizarding world and that duel between Grindelwald and Dumbledore, where he gets the other one. That was supposed to be the big climatic, but she added the thing with Ezra Miller and how
Yeah.
Dumbledore's sister died, and it just became very confusing, even for people that were familiar to where the story was headed. But ultimately, I think it was the thing that failed to attract people was the lack of magic that David Yates just didn't know how to do. Even the CGI looked too CGI. It stopped
Yeah.
looking like magic. So he was so good. My theory is that he was so good at making Potter movies that he forgot what made them special, if you know what I mean.
No, definitely. And at that point, he'd already directed four of them. Now he's going to do three more by the end. It was just sad. It was not.
And I don't know they knew how to tell the story of the first Wizarding World.
Yeah.
And like the fact that you had three actors playing the antagonist made it so confusing because each actor gets its take. I mean, probably by the time Matt Mikkelsen was the character, they should have made the joke that he had Polyjuice Potion again.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of the first one with Colin Farrell. He has Polyjuice Potion, and they should have done the same thing in the second one, but they didn't. They were just like, "Yeah, this is his new face. Accept it."
Yeah. Just, put up with it.
Yeah.
Then, like you said, they also did a play around that time, which I'm actually not that that I actually did like it for what it's worth. I could see
Hmm.
potential in it if it got a feature adaptation. If they ever wanted to bring back the original
Daniel
cast.
Radcliffe.
Oh yeah, I would have saw that in a heartbeat. I would have stopped everything to go and see it because I do think one more rewrite would have helped it. But I'm not gonna say that it's terrible. I think there are elements in it I really like where these characters ended up. I like the relationship he has with Malfoy. It does get a little weird at the end. I like its connections to the fourth book and how that kind of operated. I don't know. It was a
Yeah,
fun kind of sci-fi take, Back to the Future style of Harry Potter.
it's
I wouldn't
a
mind seeing it with that cast though, but it is tough now considering most of the adult ones are dead. So the
it's
kids,
a dumb movie. That's what I would say. It's a dumb play. It's fun to see it live, but once you analyze it, it makes no sense, and it relies so much on nostalgia to bring you back to Harry Potter, if you know what I
yeah,
mean. Like the fact that the ending is Harry has to see his parents die and he cannot do anything. It's very manipulative emotionally to make the audience tear and cry.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. I thought it was
Yeah, but
pretty.
it's still, he had already come to terms that he had no parents, right? And that's somewhat manipulative. Especially, maybe the way it reads is not as manipulative, but the way it's presented on stage is. Seeing it on stage, you just have to see it with Harry as he's like, oh, my parents are dying again. So it's like very manipulative.
Fair.
And the emotional beats rely on nostalgia, not on original things. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I guess now it's a perfect segue into this trailer, which,
Oh boy.
yeah, okay, we'll get the elephant out.
Protego.
There is nothing about this trailer that's convincing me this was necessary because I am literally just seeing beat for beat almost the same thing I saw 25 years ago without any rhyme or reason. Even new kid playing Harry Potter, with all due respect, just looks like another Daniel Radcliffe. Like
Wow. He looks, he has the eye at the very least.
the eyes.
Because they're supposed to be green for Lily, and Daniel Radcliffe didn't have green eyes for
I
Lily.
actually thought the kid didn't have those eyes. I thought they still matched Daniel Radcliffe. I must have not been paying attention.
Well, I thought now they actually did the job well because Daniel Radcliffe has black eyes, I believe, or brown. He doesn't have green eyes like
Yeah.
Lily.
But that seems to be what this show is trying to do. The people who are show running
Sure.
this are from Succession. Yeah, I know. I kind of said that. It's being directed by someone who's done a lot of Game of Thrones episodes. That they said they wanted to be more faithful to the books. They wanted
Yeah,
to include
sure.
all the elements. Yeah, no, I'm kind of
Yeah, sure.
where you're taking a 250-page book and stretching it out from a 2-hour movie to 8 hours of TV, which at the very least doesn't seem that way. Like there's a scene in the trailer where Harry is getting chased by Dudley.
Which is not in the book.
No, it's not in the book. There's a scene where they're playing in the winter, just throwing snowballs. That didn't look like it was in the book. I thought they were alone for the winter.
Here's the thing, and this is my commitment to our audience and to you. I'll reread the book just for the series. I mean, it's an easy read, but as I recall, I read it like a year ago. That's not in the book.
Yeah.
Them playing snowflakes in Hogwarts is not in the book. I remember the Quidditch season being mentioned more in the book. So yeah, that's exciting. But like, are you gonna show 5 matches of Quidditch? Like, that's
That's
not as
gonna get old
exciting.
fast. It's not exciting.
Especially like you know we've seen it a lot of times. And the thing him being chased by Dudley is not in the books. I think on Petunia uh, take doing the thing to his hair is in the books because it grows faster. But he being bullied in the Muggle school is not in the books.
Well, another thing with that too, it does bring when I saw Aunt Petunia, I kind of had to do a double take because I'm like, that's really what she looks like. Uncle Vernon, he's all
He's not
skinny
fat.
and he's not fat. No, there's just a lot that I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking, well, why was this choice made? Why cast it? Like, I'm just thinking about that original movie, and I shouldn't be thinking about the original movie, but the problem with that stems from all those books were adapted into films. It wasn't a Percy Jackson or a Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events where they did maybe one or two movie, but they couldn't finish because box office and the studio quit because they thought it wasn't worth it.
Hmm.
No, they finished. Like I Hunger Games finished, Twilight finished. Those books did not need to be readapted, but Harry Potter is for this odd
Money.
reason that yeah, it really is. It really is. I feel for
Well,
the actors. I think personally, all the adult cast is off in one way or another. Like, I know everyone likes to joke on Snape. I will say, at least he's British. Like,
well,
Dumbledore is played by John Lithgow. Like, he's as
here's the
American as they.
thing. If they were gonna skip that rule, why didn't you cast Adam Driver?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, here's the thing. The thing about Snape, let's just address it, is not that it's racist or not. It's going to be seen through the racial lens,
Well,
whether
my,
you
my
like it or
issue with
not.
that actually, it makes Harry's dad a bit of a racist when he
Well, even
blames.
Harry, because Harry hates him all the way until he finds out his true intentions. And
Yeah.
like, well, now we know the ending, but Alan Rickman did it with such a subtlety because he knew the ending before anybody else. And I
It,
know he was older, like in the books, he's supposed to be 30, but this will change the dynamics of Sirius, Lupin, Snape, and Harry's dad's relationship because now they're going to be perceived as racists. And the
mhm.
fact that Lily will reject the only black friend that she had and his black friend from his childhood is going to make him seem even more weird. And let's not go to the fifth, sixth, seventh book. Let's focus on the Philosopher's Stone. Everybody suspects of Snape.
Yeah, and him being the only like African American
Yeah, the
cast.
only black
Yeah.
professor. I know they have the centaur who teaches, I don't know, teaches one of the classes that was not mentioned in the movies.
Well,
Uh,
speaking of that too, they did bring back an original cast member from the movies, Warwick Davis. He
well,
plays the conductor again. I'm like, well, why couldn't you
Flitwick.
just yeah, Flitwick, why can't you just cast another person in that role? Like why did it have to be this one?
Well, it's Fearance, the center I'm talking about. I think he
Oh,
teaches
Fearance.
one of the classes. But like you're going to suspect of the only African American or black African American type of looking cast member. And also, like, if the purebloods are so white, how are you going to be the lead of Snape's of Slytherin?
I just like how you're lingering on Snape when I have like more problems with all the other casts. But I do
Well,
agree with you. There is a lot of implication to it that
that's going to change the story. That's all
it
I'm
is.
saying.
It
And
is.
it's not being racist or like the fact that he has dreadlocks when the book describes his hair very long and flat. But
Yeah.
well, no, very faithful.
No, oh yeah, no, already very faithful. But yeah, my issue was with the John Lithgow casting because he's 80 years old. If you're not
He's
gonna
going to
do,
die.
he's gonna die before the show ends. So wow, you resurrected that old. Oh yeah, we're gonna keep him around, but Richard Harris him and replace him when he's done. Dude, I just wanted to see you as Lord Farquaad again. I didn't want you to come into this. McGonagall doesn't look like McGonagall. She looks a lot younger. Um,
She looks like Team McGonagall.
yeah.
But I think the worst offender is Nick Frost.
Oh yeah, no, that was a pretty cosplayish. Like when I saw Robbie Coltrane in the original, I wanted to give that guy a hug. He just felt so like
He felt
perfect.
like the character.
He did, especially in like the first two Harry Potter
Films, yeah.
films. I do feel bad that they kind of left him out a little bit more as the films progress, but I mean, hey, it's fine. It's that kind of story. But Nick Frost just feels confused. Like he just feels like an oaf. He feels like someone cosplaying at a fan convention as Hagrid. He doesn't necessarily look
It's
the
the
part.
same costume. And that's what makes it worse.
Yeah, like it just none of this feels like it's trying to. And with all due respect, I'm not saying those films were perfect. They did have problems. They did
Flaws,
have
yeah, of
yeah, they had
course.
flaws. Plot points went nowhere. They adapted things that probably shouldn't, but at the very least they were able to keep things concisive and cohesive throughout the whole thing. This feels like it's going to over explain everything, and it feels like it's going to show
Well,
us things that we didn't need. It feels like the Hobbit add-ons when Peter Jackson added them to try and
although,
connect them to Lord of the Rings. This feels like it's trying to connect everything to the later books, and I don't think I really like that because it just feels, we're expecting that. It's like they think the audience is stupid enough that they haven't seen this before. Like apparently you mentioned to me before we started recording this that they're going to include scenes where Ron and Hermione and even Malfoy get their letters to Hogwarts. Like, is that really necessary? Is that?
well, I think it also changes the point of view
Yeah.
because this is not Malfoy's, Hermione, Ron, Dumbledore's story. It's Harry's. And we don't need to see Ron's house before Harry sees it because then it loses impact. Because the first time he goes to Ron's house is in the second book, and he's marveled by the fact that this is a house full of magic compared to his Muggle house. And if we see that, then the impact of Harry seeing it for the first time is somewhat diminished. So
Oh,
I
100.
really hope they don't, but I have a feeling they will because
Yeah,
they know better.
I agree.
So, I mean, I think another issue that unfortunately it's going to plague this series, it's what we associate with the brand. And what I mean by that is, isn't it going to be weird that if you go to Universal theme parks all over the world, because I believe they also have a Japan version, you're going to be seeing Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, Robbie Coltrane, the old guard of Harry Potter. Meanwhile, HBO and Warner is going to try and push these new versions of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So which one is the definitive one? And then something that you have not brought up, but the music. Are they
Oh
really
yeah.
going to replace the Wizarding World theme with whatever Hans Zimmer is doing?
I mean, he
I
kind of
was
did
not
that.
impressed by the trailer music. It seems like they're going to go with a more serious tone, but like, how are you going to take away Hedwig's theme? Like, that's music perfection almost. Like,
I
how are
mean,
you going to do that? And that's like the brand itself. It's like taking Superman away from Superman. But I guess this is a insight into how Star Wars would look without John Williams.
I was just gonna say he already did that with Superman. Like he did the theme for Man of Steel after the John Williams theme for Superman. So it's not like he's hasn't done it before.
Yeah, but I mean, look how that franchise ended up.
Yeah.
Like, all I'm saying is Harry Potter. I mean, I don't know. Would you argue it's bigger than Superman in today's world?
No, I think Superman's bigger. But I mean, for the British and for just something like this that is big and also just such an iconic staple for people who grew up in like the 90s and 2000s, it does feel like we are getting a remake too soon. Like, I don't feel like the show will finish its run. If it did, I'd be very surprised, not just because of the Paramount deal, but just because I think a lot of people will be comparing it to that original.
Yeah,
And the commitment from the team, I don't feel is going to be as there as they'd like it to. And the biggest factor being that they're not releasing things every year. Like they're taking maybe a year or two
two
off,
years.
is going to kill momentum to adapt all seven of these books into a seven season show, which, I mean, if they want to commit to a decade, sure, but those kids are going to age fast. And I mean, they did for the original, don't get me wrong, but they were able to still condense it all into that, I mean, 9 year period from when they were kids to
Yeah,
adults.
allegedly they're going to finish by the time they're 30 making this show. These
Oh, man.
kids. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a massive challenge because we haven't talked about it, but the tone of the trailer, it's like you're seeing Succession all over again.
The tone with the trailer's all dark like the later films, which also is another big factor I feel is hurting it. Like they made the magical world so fantastic before and bright and everything looked really warm that he found his place.
It looked like a theme park.
Yeah, it did.
Like,
But
I don't know. This feels like they just took the lot they used for Succession and put it in Harry Potter. And apparently, there's people that have been saying that it's YouTube's fault because of the compression. So we might be seeing another Game of Thrones where your TV settings are not good enough for you to watch our show. So I don't know. I think this show is very controversial, of course, and I guess, do you think it'll be successful this first season?
I mean, yeah, curiosity probably would be, but I don't feel like the momentum will stay. I think as time will continue to go on for this, I don't see them finishing it, which is a shame. I don't want it tainting the brand, but I really do think it's just another one of David Zalvis's way to try and keep the brand alive because Fantastic Beasts was such a flop. And I mean, it's such a shame because they have a good starting point with Hogwarts Legacy to kind of continue Harry Potter as a game series. Like it was the
Well,
highest selling game of 2024, so I don't know what happened.
even other stories, like they didn't have to remake it. They
Yeah.
could have done the first Wizarding World War with James and Lily, and with how they died. There's like a lot of stories in the Potter universe that have not been told. That you could replicate the structure, like you could have Lily be the Harry of that story, and we can understand that love between Snape and all of that, but they just didn't. Like there's a lot of stories that they could have told,
Yeah.
but they just didn't. Like seeing the OG Order of Phoenix, that has always been so good. I mean, but I agree. I think the comparison with the films is going to be so good. Like, just think about it. When do you have Alec Rickman, Richard Harris, Maggie Smith, uh, what's his name, Sirius Black, uh,
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, Michael Gambon? I mean, I know they're the same, but like all the best British actors, Kenneth Branagh, in one franchise. When are you going to have that again?
You
Like,
won't
how is
because it's
this series going
celebration of
to top
first.
that?
It won't. And
Like,
unfortunately, people will eat it up. I'm hoping they'll wise up though and rewatch those original movies, reread the books, because that's really where it's gonna succeed more. Is just remembering those good times rather than try to recreate something that's already done.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but I'm sure we'll review it. I
Yeah,
have a feeling they'll release it as a binge model, ironically.
you think so?
Yeah, I just imagine. I mean, at the very least, they'll have to premiere like 3 episodes for Christmas. But if you just release one episode that always sees Harry miserable on Christmas, that makes no sense. You could argue the first film is a Christmas movie because they have the Christmas element at Hogwarts. But if they don't pay that off, then it's going to be kind of miserable, you know?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking forward to it because I sort of feel they're replacing what was good already. But hey, at least it's not what they are trying to do with Lord of the Rings and Stephen Colbert trying to adapt like 4 chapters of the book that they didn't adapt so they can make like the prequel of the prequel.
no, it's a sequel because it's also taking place after Return of the King,
No,
which
no, no, no. That's Stephen Colbert's film is during Fellowship of the Ring.
no, it's after too. He mentioned that's gonna be after Frodo dies. Sam, Pippin, and Merry go on this quest to find something, and then it cuts to those 4 chapters or 6 chapters, whatever.
Yeah, it's like a prequel and a sequel at the same time.
Yeah, it's a Godfather 2, but it's pretty bold of them to make an actual sequel to Return of the King with those characters, an epilogue. We'll have to wait and see how that turns because I'm
I don't think
already.
they're making that movie.
No, I don't. I think Stephen Colbert, even though he's a self professed Tolkien fan, like, dude, I know you lost your show, but this is not really.
Well, he's also going to be back working with the guys that just fired him.
Yeah,
So I don't think they're making that film. I mean, and I don't think the hunt for Gollum will be a success.
no, I don't think so either.
Like they're recasting Viggo Mortensen. How are you going to make that successful? It seems like these franchises they don't understand that the films are already good. Make new IP, but I mean that's a bigger problem in Hollywood, I guess.
It is. But
But
yeah, good episode today talking about
Leviosa.
yeah.
I mean, let's see. I'm sure they'll release a trailer by the time. I don't know. When do you think they'll release a full trailer of this thing? Because
Probably
this
in the
was like a
springtime.
teaser, right?
Yeah, it was a first look, so we'll probably get more in the next couple months.
When do you think we'll get like the first full trailer? Like September, maybe?
Yeah, probably around
So
fall.
we'll react to it then. Oh
We will.
boy.
Probably this.
Mischief managed.
Yeah,
Oh boy. It's going to be a weird Christmas. Like we're going to be so busy. Like how many movies we have to review?
I know, right?
Well, just the biggest movie of the year. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's the
Next week.
Odyssey.
Oh yeah, and
But
Avengers and Dune. But I
yeah.
mean, the biggest animated film of the year comes out next week. So
Well, I think it could be the biggest film of the year, box office wise.
yeah,
Like Nintendo is super popular nowadays. Unless they do the variable pricing like they do in the games, that's the only way they could stop making these be a success.
the very
Yeah.
least, what Sony did this week, raising the price of the PS5s again.
I mean, by this point, who doesn't own a PS5?
Yeah,
Like, it's a 7-year-old console by this point. Like,
but the
if you don't
consoles
own
are
one,
supposed to go down, but because of all
like
the
if you don't
RAM.
own one, something like better say for PS6 or for the
Yeah,
PlayStation Portable or whatever they're going to release, because now everybody wants handhelds.
true. Because they're just better handhelds.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a future thanks to Nintendo, but we'll see.
We'll see.
It's fun.
This was fun. To sign us off, thank you for a fun episode. He's Andres Ramirez. You can follow him at Jaro2096. I'm the Zach Houston. We are below the line underscore podcast for now. Thank you for listening. Talk about Harry Potter and all things about it. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one when we go back into the merry world of Nintendo. So, bye bye.
Woohoo! Sorry.
Had to get that out.
Yeah, it was like the Mario. Woohoo! Yeah. What you were saying? Sorry,
Nope,
I
that was
cut your
it.
flow. Oh,
You're good.
then bye
Bye.
bye. Have a good one, Zach.
Take it easy, man.